Seems to be working. Man, this dust. I'll talk to you in a minute. All right, welcome back to the channel. So, another day of harvest. I gotta hook this draper up, bring it to the field where we're gonna cut beans. We're actually gonna pick a little bit of corn this morning while the beans aren't quite fit. We got 13 acres left in the field, so we're gonna knock that out this morning and then switch to beans. So, move this draper over to the farm where we're going. That way it's ready. Get some trucks and stuff moved around, pick some corn, switch to beans. Gosh, that's heavy. That tongue is really heavy because the connection point is a little bit ahead of the axle. So you basically are using that as a lever to pick up this whole trailer. So we bought a jack for it, we just haven't got it installed yet. Well, Dad's gonna take the tractor and grain cart down to the field. It's just down the road. I'm gonna check the oil in the combine, probably top it off with fuel real quick and get it started up, let it warm up. Pick him up, come back at the combine. We should be ready to roll. A little bit harder to get to the dipstick on this combine. They got it hidden in this cabinet. Oil's good. I've been keeping an eye on this antifreeze in here. It looks good. It was a little bit low when we bought this. When we drove it home, it was throwing a code for low antifreeze. I guess I could have brought the fuel hose up with me. Anyways, we topped it off, and I think the previous owner flushed the coolant out and replaced it, and I think he just didn't put quite enough back in it, so it's been good. Don't want to deal with antifreeze problems. This combine definitely uses more fuel than our old one, but I guess it's a little bit more efficient as far as getting acres done, so I would have to do some math to see if it actually pencils out. It's got more horsepower, so it probably burns more fuel per acre just because we're still running an 8-row head. Maybe if we had a 12-row head, things might be different, but yeah, burns more fuel. What's going on here? Okay, throw my lunchbox up here, my coffee, start this thing up, let it warm up a minute. I guess I spoke too soon. Coolant level low, that's not good. Headed to the field. Oh, too fast. Still on road gear. There we go. Got one row there. How that happened. We got Maria back in the grain cart. She's helping us out this morning. She's gonna help us get this 13 acres of corn out, and then she's got some other things she needs to take care of. So maybe help us get moved, and this also kind of speed things up a little bit. It goes a lot faster when you have a grain cart operator. This farm has a pretty serious waterway through the middle of it. It's not really a man-made waterway, it's a nature-made waterway. It never used to be this bad.
It's also got a big clay tile that runs through the middle of it. And we got about 5 or 6 tile holes. I just wanted to see if there was any water in it. And it's pretty dry.
We haven't had any substantial rain for at least a month and a half. So it's dry out here. It's a pretty good chance of rain Wednesday. So I'm kind of hoping we get some rain. We'd like to get a little bit of moisture back in the ground before we plant wheat. So it'd be nice to get a little shower. So while I'm stopped here, I just want to kind of address a couple things. I had an excellent question on one of my previous videos. Somebody was asking that if they went out and picked an ear of corn out of a cornfield before it turned brown and got dry, if they could eat it. And I tried to answer as best I could in the comment, but I figured I'd do a little video explanation. So this is what the corn looks like. It's dried down. It's actually not quite dry enough. It's running about 22-23%. So the kernels are actually hard, so you could not bite into this if you wanted to. When the crop is green, the kernels are still soft, and you technically could eat it if you wanted to, but it would taste terrible. This is not sweet corn. Sweet corn is the kind of corn that people eat. That's what comes in a can. This is field corn. So this is used mainly for livestock feed or to make ethanol. So technically you could eat it. I don't recommend it. If you want to eat corn, you need to find a sweet corn field. The other thing I want to talk about, so a lot of my neighbors and a lot of the people out in our area, they're getting out in the fields and they're like, man, this crop is way better than I thought it was going to be. And if you look at this ear, it's not very big. It's 16 around by 25 long. And if you do the math on that, it doesn't even come out to 200 bushels to the acre. But what we've got going for us this year is we had some late rains and it really filled those kernels out. So these kernels are huge, and that's where we're getting our yield from. On a normal year with ears like this would be 160, 170 bushel corn. But this year it's quite a bit above 200. So we're really happy with that. It's kind of an odd thing that doesn't happen very often. And a lot of people are just like, man, where's this yield coming from? It's the kernel size and kernel depth. They're just big this year. Cab corn. So to further expand on that whole yield thing, the size of the ear is determined earlier in the season. So early summer, we were pretty hot and dry, so that gave us some pretty small ears. And then later in the season, we had more almost perfect growing conditions. We were getting rain and the weather was nice, so it filled those kernels to the max, and it's given us really good yields. And I think it's just kind of fascinating how each environmental factor will change a specific part of the plant. So you can kind of look at the plant and see how it develops, and you can say, oh, it must have been dry early on, or it must have been wet early on, things like that. And people who really know what they're looking at can look at a corn stalk, look at the ears, and they can tell you what happened all summer. And I think that's pretty cool. And we finished the field, got that 13 acres done. Maria's putting the last of it on the truck, and she's gonna help me move. Caught in a whoa. Anyways, she's gonna help me move the combine before she's gotta take off. And Dad will get these trucks emptied. See if we can get some beans knocked out. Maria's gonna bring me back to the field. We got the combine moved. She's already ready for us to be done with harvest.
Yep.
And we're like 25% done. So, I don't know what to tell you, babe.
I don't know either.
This was supposed to be her day off, but let me see how that turned out. Thanks. We're back here in the field. I'm gonna get this draper hooked up, and then I gotta get everything switched back over on the combine from corn to beans. And Dad's gonna come back with the truck, gotta give him a ride. We're just always moving stuff all the time. All right. Oh, this is hard to do with one hand. Splines aren't quite lined up. There it goes. PTO shaft. Single point. There's that. So I think I've already showed you guys how to change everything over on this. I'll just do a quick run through. We got to change our feeder house drum height from high to low for soybeans. Then we come in here, see if I can get this open. We put our rotor, that's this handle right here, we put that in high range. We take our chopper knives, which is these right here. We shove them up into the chopper so they chop up the bean straw. Pop this open and we pull the knob out for the transmission to run the chopper in high range. Then we come around to this side of the machine, up in front, and we change that feed accelerator to high range. I think that's it. Oh, one more thing. We change this straw deflector from corn to wheat mode, which is also for soybeans. And then you got your settings in the cab, sieves, fan speed, rotor speed, concave clearance. Pretty simple. You can switch a machine over in less than 10 minutes. We got everything moved over here. Dad stuffed on the last truck of corn, and I gotta get my inside settings. I don't know if I've ever showed you guys the slide chart. It's pretty simple. You just slide it over to what crop you're on, so we're in soybeans, and then it gives you kind of a general range, I don't know if that's focusing, of where to set everything. And it, some of them, I don't really run in the range. I think it does a better job and outside of the range, but for the most part, it gives you some good guidelines. All right, let's rock and roll, see what happens. Turn the parking brake off. All right, let's rock and roll and see what happens. Take a few weeds in first, get the field opened up. Saying they're about 10% moisture. It's a little drier than we'd like to see them, but what do you do? It seems like 9 times out of 10 we cut beans when they're like 10%. We can't really get them to be that 12.5 to 13 like we like. They just dry out so fast, especially when we haven't had any rain for a month and a half. So they're fit enough. We're gonna keep rolling. And I'm full. Dad's not quite back yet from dumping the truck. I'm gonna run over here and grab the grain cart. It was showing that my yield was pretty bad. These beans don't look that bad, but it was saying like 20 to 30 bushel. Then it dawned on me, I forgot to change my monitor over from corn to beans. So it thought we were still harvesting corn, and it was doing its math to make that a pretty low corn yield, but it was actually soybeans. So got that switched over. Yields are much better. I think we're gonna be pretty happy with this farm. It's a pretty good farm. Should have pretty good beans on it.
careful, we're gonna see it.
I don't want. Still rolling along. We got about 36 acres done so far. You can see this spot right here where it's a little bit weedy. I think I mentioned in a previous video that we got kind of cheap on our herbicide program for beans this year. We didn't add a residual chemical in with our post application. Normally we do, and we left it out kind of for two reasons. One, to save money, and one of our advisors thought that it wasn't really necessary. Well, I think it actually is, because there's spots where the beans are shorter and they didn't shade the row as much that are kind of weedy. They're still yielding fine, and overall the field is clean. I would say maybe 10% of it, maybe not even 10% of it is kind of dirty. So I think next year we're gonna pay up and put that residual in and hopefully get a little bit cleaner beans, because clean beans are good beans. I don't know if that's actually the case. I just kind of made that up, but I don't like dirty beans.
Say thank you for the ride.
Had some visitors. Did you say thank you? Bye bye.
Little kisses.
Yep, you're gonna go eat dinner, huh?
Eat. Yep, we're gonna go eat dinner.
Yeah. Well, thanks for visiting.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye bye. Love you. Bye bye. See you later. They also brought me dinner. I think I'll keep her around. Well, Dad took off with the last load that we're gonna get to town before they close, and just dumped one combine load in this truck. Got a big old lump of dirt here in the middle we need to get rid of.
Get out of here.
Don't really need to run that through the combine. Oh man, we're about half done on this farm. Everything's going good. Sorry this isn't more interesting. I know when stuff breaks down and blows apart and gets stuck, that's what makes good YouTube, but I'd rather we hold things together, so I'm gonna keep rolling. Whoa, 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 easy girl, easy. So I thought oh man, it's dusty.
That was the noise I heard.
I didn't tell you guys, but I heard a noise. I didn't know what it was. Now I know. Brett, you put that catch basin too close. Well, hope I didn't ruin the inside of the combine. It still seems to be working. Man, this dust. I'll talk to you in a minute. So we just put a new drain tile main in this field, and Buddy's with the guy who farms next to us, and he had a wet spot in his corner, and he asked if he could run a tile to our new main over to his wet spot, and he also kind of helped us out on our side of the line too. And he put a catch basin, but apparently he put it a little too close to the edge. I thought it was 40 feet away, but it was not 40 feet away. And I heard a clunking noise, and I just thought, oh, I don't know, got a big wad of beans. I mean, it wasn't a terrible noise, but apparently it was that going through the machine. Nice. That being said, it's gonna get dark here pretty soon, and my camera doesn't work very well in the dark. So I think I'm gonna end this video here. We're doing pretty good. We got about 70, well, we got exactly 70 acres done so far out of this 130. We got a truck half full, an empty truck, and a grain cart. So we should knock out quite a bit more of this tonight. Pretty good chance of rain tomorrow. We're really hoping for rain. We need the rain. We'd like to get some moisture in the ground before we plant our wheat. But Harvest 22 rolls on. We're going to keep pushing, and thanks for watching. See you on the next one.